Dear students, today I want to make you a short presentation about the solid waste management part 2. Myself Dr. Digna Varghese. Contents of the presentation: solid waste management, recycling, digestion, dumping, incineration, land treatment and composting. Solid waste management. Solid waste management includes the various processes of collection, transport and storage, disposal or reuse of solid waste materials. The proper management of waste is of utmost importance because if any improper disposal of waste or poor waste management can create major cause for environmental degradation. It can cause significant health problems. It may lead to epidemics due to the contamination of groundwater. Important components of reduction of pollution is the proper collection and efficient disposal of waste, proper characterization of waste into hazardous and non-hazardous categories. How we can protect our environment by proper solid waste management? Let us see. The collection, storage and transport of waste in a proper way we can protect our environment. First, we are discussing about the collection of waste. Municipal solid waste, that is MSW, consists of the domestic waste from homes and also from shops and other institutions of a city, town or village that require routine collection, storage and transport to a processing or disposal site. Domestic waste may contain food waste, paper, plastic, glass, wood, aluminium and any other metals or unused substances, etc. It is the normal practice to collect the domestic waste in a garbage bins set up by the municipal authorities at different places, or they are collected by private or municipal workers. The wastes are collected either in a garbage bins or directly by the workers, are then transferred to community bins. From there they are carried to the disposal site. At the disposal site, the wastes are sorted out into biodegradable and non-biodegradable materials. Unlike the municipal solid waste categories, there is considerable diversity in the characteristics and composition of the industrial solid waste because they are generated from many different types of industries. The waste categories are dependent on the nature of the products produced. Each industrial unit makes arrangements for the waste collection, storage, and transportation in consultation with the municipal authorities. Disposal methods. Disposal is the final stage in the solid waste management. Safe disposal of solid waste is important for safeguarding the public health as well as the environment. How we can dispose the waste in a proper way? There are several methods. First one is open dumping. Waste can be dumped in an open place. Landfilling or land treatment, that is also known as sanitary landfill, that is the waste can be filled in a proper land. Incineration, the waste incinerated into ashes and some gaseous products. And the other one of disposal method is composting. and anaerobic digestion, that is also known as biogasification. By this, biogas is produced. And the last one is recycling the waste materials. First disposing method of waste is open dumping. In open dumping, the solid wastes are collected, are deposited or dumped in low-lying areas, usually on the outskirts of the town or village. This method is the most easiest method of disposing waste. But this method is unscientific and it is associated with various disadvantages than advantages. The method is not suited aesthetically because we are dumping the waste in a particular place in an improper way, not covered properly or not sorted properly, etc. We are simply dumping the waste. So, open dumping of the waste can emit foul odors that can cause extreme nuisance to the public staying in the vicinity. Open dumps are uncovered the food waste and carcasses that will attract the dogs, cats, birds, flies, insects, rodents, etc. Here, the waste from various institutions, waste from various homes, and waste from hotels, city shops, markets, etc. that is not sorted in a proper way. So, there is uncovered food waste and dead bodies of the animals that will attracted by the dogs, cats, birds, flies, insects, rodents, etc. that can cause extreme disturbances to the public staying in the vicinity. These wastes can also generate fire hazards also, because in an open dumping the waste is not categorized or sorted into a proper way into hazardous or non-hazardous one. If it contains any inflammable waste, so that will generate fire hazards also. The gases from the dumps escape into the atmosphere, adding to the greenhouse emissions also. There are various waste materials that can, some are degraded, some are non-degradable one, that can emit some gases also like carbon dioxide, methane, etc. into the atmosphere that will also cause greenhouse effect. Open dumping causes pollution hazards, including the pollution of nearby water bodies and the spreading of diseases. Here are so many ways. So if rain coming, the rainwater mingles with the, or it can contact with the solid waste particles, and that can pollute the nearby water bodies, for example wells of some homes or nearby rivers, and it can spread the diseases. It can cause epidemic. The leachate from the dumps containing the heavy metals finds its way to the underground water, rendering it unfit for drinking. Rainwater is in contact with the solid waste materials that can leachate from the dumps containing heavy metals. So it finds its way to the underground water, rendering it is unfit for the drinking purpose. Deteriorating soil quality and decrease in vegetation abundance are grave consequences of open waste dumping. So the soil quality of this particular place is also lost, and there is decrease in vegetation also that can create a grave consequences of open waste dumping. Landfilling or land treatment. Sanitary landfill is another disposing method of waste. Landfilling is the scientific method and is engineered process of disposing solid waste on land by placing them in landfills. Landfills are essentially pits on the land. We can take a pits on the land where the environmental risks are controlled at an appropriate level. It is a scientific method. The purpose of landfilling is to bury the waste. Here we can see from the figure that the waste are buried in a pit, or alter the chemical composition of the waste so that they do not pose any threat to the environment or public health. Sanitary landfill, which it is the disposal. We can select a disposal site, that is carefully selected site and designed in a proper way and constructed in a proper way and is operated to protect the environment and public health. So for this particular landfill disposing of the waste, we can select a proper place and take in a pit there and designed in a proper way and constructed in a proper way and is operated in a proper way to protect the environment and public health. It is a depression or taken a pit in a land in an impermeable soil layer that is lined with an impermeable barrier. That is, if we are taking a pit that is properly covered by a clay or plastic in order to prevent leaching of materials into the groundwater. We can fill the waste in this pit. The pit is covered with a plastic sheet. The sides of the pit is covered with a plastic sheet or a clay material to prevent the leaching of materials into the groundwater. So thereby the waste is spread out and compacted into thin layers by heavy machinery. If the waste are dumping into the landfill or placed into the landfill, that is compacted or spread out into thin layers by a heavy machinery. Several layers are compacted on top of one another to maximum depth of about 10 feet. It is covered with a layer of soil. Here dumping of the waste or placing of the waste occurs, and by the use of a heavy machinery it is compacted into thin layers and to a maximum depth of about 10 feet. After that it is covered by a layer of soil every day to eliminate windblown litter, odors and insects or rodent problems. Aerobic microorganisms decompose the organic material in the waste until the oxygen present in the waste gets exhausted. So in sanitary landfill we select a proper place to dispose the waste for a land treatment, and it is designed in a proper way, and it is constructed and is operated to protect the waste from the environment and public health. It is a depression. Actually, the land treatment or a sanitary landfill is a depression, or take a pit to place the waste materials, and it is covered, the wall of the or the pit is covered with a plastic sheet. The side wall of the pit is covered with a plastic sheet or a clay material to prevent the leaching of the materials into the groundwater. Waste are placed into the landfill, that is compacted by the use of a suitable heavy machinery. After that, it is covered with a soil in order to eliminate the windblown litter, odors and insect or rodent problems. And here the aerobic microorganisms decompose the organic material in the waste until the oxygen present in the waste gets exhausted. Anaerobic microorganisms then decompose to producing methane gas, which is poisonous and explosive. We know first aerobic microorganisms will decompose the organic part of the waste material. If the oxygen of the materials or the land filling ceases and the aerobic microorganisms action stops, after that the anaerobic microorganisms decompose the organic part of the waste materials producing methane, which is poisonous and explosive. The gas is blocked by impermeable barriers which made in the landfill and then vented to the surface using a venting system. Here we can see the landfill, and if any gas is coming out, and so the methane gases recovery system is there, that is a venting system to the surface, that is collected. It is collected safely and diluted with air and dispersed into the atmosphere or used for beneficial purposes, for example as a fuel and for generating electricity, etc. So the process of sanitary landfill we can discuss here once more. That is, first we have to select a proper disposal site for the landfill treatment and take a depression or a pit in an impermeable soil layer, that is impermeable by means of covering its wall of the pit by a clay or a plastic sheet in order to prevent any leachate from this waste material to contaminate our water bodies or the soil nearby. The waste materials are kept in a proper way and it is compacted into thin layers by using a heavy machinery up to a maximum depth of about 10 feet. After that it is covered, and if first the aerobic microorganisms decompose the organic material, oxygen, if absence of oxygens, anaerobic microorganisms take its action and producing methane gas, and the methane gas is collected by gas is vented to the surface using a venting system, that is we can see from this picture, that is methane gas recovery system, that is can be collected. The gas can be collected or safely diluted with air and dispersed into the atmosphere. Otherwise, it can be used for beneficial purposes, like it can use as a fuel and for generating electricity also. If proper maintaining of the landfill, we can monitor its drinking quality of the groundwater. There is a well nearby to the landfill, and we can collect the water from the well and check the groundwater quality also. So if there is any contamination with the heavy metals, or if any other metals or elements, so we can monitor the landfill contamination with the nearby water bodies. Here we can collect a collection system, leachate from the treatment system also, that can be used for any other purposes. Safety measures are taken to prevent environmental damage originating from such landfills. Landfills are located in such places in preventing contamination from the landfill to the natural environment. Perforated pipes in the layer of sand are used to collect the rainwater that has filtered through the landfill. The highly contaminated liquid called leachate, thus collected, is treated before disposed. So, landfill located in such a places in preventing the contamination with the natural environment. And there is some perforated pipes. If rainwater used to collect the rainwater that has filtered through the landfill, the highly contaminated liquid, that is leachate from the landfill, that is collected in a proper way, and before it is disposed, it is treated in a suitable way. And wells are drilled around the landfill to monitor the groundwater quality. A methane recovery system is also there to prevent the pollution by methane produced from anaerobic digestion or anaerobic degradation, and the recovered methane is used for beneficial purposes, that is collection from the wells, and also the gas is collected here, and here we can see it is converted into some beneficial fat uses, that is from methane we can convert this into electricity also. Advantages of the sanitary landfill. The method is one of the cheapest and most practical methods of solid waste disposal. The method provides sufficient importance to control environmental pollution. The method does not require highly skilled staff, and it also causes no overload dangers are involved. Methane gas trapping is possible in a well controlled sanitary landfill, and the gas can be useful as a fuel. After a landfill serves its purpose, the land can be reclaimed for useful purposes also. And there is some disadvantages for the sanitary landfill. That is, a sanitary landfill requires a large area of land. The leachate as well as the gas emission from a landfill must be regularly monitored. Heavy compacting and consolidating machinery are required for compacting the waste. A landfill causes massive pollution of soil, air, groundwater, and nearby water bodies if there is no proper monitoring system. So, a landfill cannot be built in an environmentally sensitive area. It has to be built in a place where natural land features will assist in preventing pollution of the natural environment. Next disposing method of waste is incineration. It is the most common thermal waste treatment method. It involves the controlled combustion of the combustible ingredients of the waste in air so that the waste is reduced in volume to a large extent to yield a residue containing non-combustible material. Incineration of waste can be carried out at a controlled temperature, that is about 900 to 1100 degrees Celsius, in an oil-fired plant. Hydraulic cranes lift up the waste and deposit it to the furnace hoppers of the incinerator. The air is supplied using an air blower. The smoke in the effluent gas is removed by electroprecipitators or by a spray system before releasing the gas into the atmosphere or air. Electrostatic precipitator or electroprecipitator is a filtration device that removes fine particles like dust, smoke from flowing gas using a force of an induced electrostatic charge minimally impeding the flow of gases through the unit. That will separate the smoke in the effluent gas before the gas is released into the air. The ash produced is deposited into landfills. After that incineration, the waste volume is reduced and the remaining ash produced is deposited into the landfills or disposed into the landfills. Actually, the waste undergoes incineration that will makes ash, flue gas and heat. Inorganic part of the waste is converted to ash part and organic part of waste is converted to carbon dioxide, water and oxides of nitrogen and oxides of sulfur. The energy released during the incineration, that is heat energy of the waste, can be utilized either directly as heat itself or indirectly for generating electricity. That is one of its use. And another advantage of this one is that the volume of the waste is reduced. Advantages of the incineration method is that a volume reduction of the waste by about 90%. This ensures an economic transport to a landfill. After that incineration of the waste converted into ash, flue gas and heat energy. So the ash is weightless and it ensures an economic transport to the disposing site, that is to a landfill. An easier disposal taking very little space. Incineration facilities require only a very small area of land. We can see in the case of land treatment or a sanitary landfill, there we need a large area, but here for the incineration facilities we need only a small area of land. The incinerator can be placed close to the waste generation or storage areas that the transportation cost can be reduced. We can keep the incinerator in a place where the waste is generated or waste is stored. So the transportation cost also can be reduced. The flue heat generated from the incineration can be utilized as such for energy requiring purposes. We can make it for electricity also, that is energy production, or a steam boiler. It can also be used via proper arrangements to convert water into steam in boiler systems, which can then utilized to run the steam turbine generators to produce electricity. Such waste to energy technology, that is from waste to create energy, that is waste to energy technology, becomes economically viable if the calorific value of the waste is high. That is a very good advantage of incineration method. Disadvantages of the incineration method. Incineration of waste results in the emission of air pollutants such as carbon monoxide and various nitrogen oxides to the environment that degrade the urban air quality and are hazardous to the human health also. Burning of plastic components of the waste emits dioxins which are highly carcinogenic that can cause cancer. Burning of wet waste often requires adding supplemental fuel, which brings higher cost to the operation. If wastes are not properly dried, if it contains wet waste also, we can add additional fuel to burn the waste materials. That will increase the cost of the operation. The need for higher standards of emission controls necessitates technologies that require a very large capital investments and high maintenance costs. The setting up of waste to energy plants is relatively expensive operation or option requiring skilled manpower and adoption of high level technologies. It is very expensive, that is waste to energy conversion, that require proper skilled manpower and also high level technologies that will increase the cost of the operation. Electricity generation using the flue heat in boilers is not economically feasible for developing countries like our country, because the waste content does not provide enough fuel value for profitable energy production. Another disposing method of waste is composting. It is a beneficial method for managing domestic biodegradable waste that we can see in our homes also. The process of plant biodegradation of organic matter by microorganisms under controlled conditions, either in open pits, that is open window composting, or in enclosed bins, that is closed cell composting, or in vessel composting. First we are dealing with the open window composting. It requires relatively large land areas. In closed well window composting, that is, or in vessel composting, that requires one or more closed tanks or digesters equipped with the rotating vanes that mix and aerate the shredded waste, providing the right conditions for bacteria and fungi to convert in both of them, convert the organic waste to compost. The product is obtained by composting in a few weeks called compost. is very rich in plant nutrients and is used as a fertilizer in organic farming. So, composting waste is giving the fiber rich materials, carbon containing humus, and inorganic plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, so it can be used as a fertilizer. Composting waste give compost that contain fiber rich materials, carbon containing humus, and also the inorganic plant nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium that can be used as a fertilizer in organic farming. Composting. Composting divided into two types, that is in anaerobic composting, that is without oxygen. Decomposition occurs where the oxygen is absent or in a limited supply of oxygen. And the other one is in aerobic composting. Decomposition takes place in the presence of oxygen and processing time is shorter here, and methane emissions to the environment are also avoided here. That is the advantage. Composting, that is the enzymatic degradation of organic materials as they pass through the digestive system of earthworms. This process is termed vermicomposting and mimics natural decomposition of waste material by microorganisms. Vermicomposting of the waste is done in a pit lined with dried leaves or grass by introducing a culture of earthworms, now produced commercially under moist conditions. Fertile compost is obtained in about 45 days. So it can reduce the adverse effects of excessive acidity, alkalinity, and reduce the necessity for chemical fertilizers, makes the soil easier to cultivate, and prevents soil erosion also. That is its advantages. Now we are discussing the advantages of composting. Here the disposal of at reduced cost, but also it provides economical returns. Waste effectively gets recycled here, that is the composting can be done near the places of waste generation, that we can do in our home also. It saves the cost of transporting of waste. Waste disposal at virtually zero energy consumption. Provides possibilities for community participation also. And composting transforms a range of organic substrates into stable humus like material through microbial decomposition. Methane emissions to the atmosphere are avoided in a open composting method. Final product has no resemblance in the physical form to the original waste and is devoid of pathogenic organisms also. It saves space in landfills. There are some limitations of composting, that is the waste containing significant amounts of non-biodegradable waste like plastics, heavy metals, etc., which are not suitable for composting. So a thorough removal of non-biodegradable portions of the waste is required before composting. If the market for compost in the vicinity of the generation sites is inadequate, considerable transportation costs may be involved. Next disposing of waste method is the anaerobic digestion, that is AD, which is also known as biogasification. Anaerobic digestion is the natural process that breaks down the organic matter in the solid waste in the absence of oxygen to facilitate the release of a gas known as biogas, which leaving an organic residue called digestate. organic waste in the presence of microorganisms, anaerobic microorganism, that is in the absence of oxygen or in a limited supply of oxygen, it will decompose the organic waste into 40 to 70% into methane, then carbon dioxide, and then water. Methane rich biogas is produced in the process. It is also known as biogasification or biomethanation. Biogas can be used as a fuel for a variety of purposes, including domestic and commercial cooking, as a natural gas substitute in vehicles, and for the production of electricity also. The digestate, that is, after removing the gas, the remaining organic residue part is known as digestate. That is a nutrient rich byproduct of anaerobic digestion, which can be used as a fertilizer and a soil improver. So anaerobic digestion, there is two byproducts obtained, that is first one is biogas and the other one is digestate. Biogas can be converted into energy and digestate can be converted into fertilizer. So anaerobic digestion of biodegradable organic waste uses putrefactive bacteria, that is the methane producing bacteria, and an oxygen free environment to degrade the waste. So in an anaerobic digester, there is a putrefactive bacteria or a methane producing bacteria is there, and in the oxygen free environment this bacteria will decompose the organic matter of the waste and produce methane gas, that is the real biogas. It is carried out in an enclosed space, that is actually known as digester, under controlled conditions of temperature, moisture and pH, that is 7. In digester, the waste mass undergoes decomposition and generating biogas. In a digester, there is putrefacting bacteria or a methane producing bacteria. In the absence of oxygen, anaerobic digestion occurs and produce biogas. And here after the biogas release, there is some organic residue, that is known as digestate, that can be used as a fertilizer or a soil improver. The digester of a biogas plant consists of a digestion tank, which is thermally insulated, a heating system, mixer systems and a discharge systems for sediments and the spent substrate. So the biogas can be from this biogas we can produce electricity, heat energy, then natural fuel and also a gas grid. And here we can see from the figure anaerobic digester. In that a putrefying or methane producing bacteria is there. In the absence of oxygen, so many waste are agriculture waste, biosolids, food waste, manure, etc. are here, and this will, by the action of bacteria, the organic part of the waste is converted to biogas. After the release of the gas, there is some organic residue in the digester, that is known as digestate, that can be used as a fertilizer, and the biogas is converted into several energy forms. The digestion process consists of two main phases. The first phase, proteins, carbohydrates and fats, gives rise to fatty acids, amino acids and alcohol. These are converted into methane, carbon dioxide and other gases including ammonia and hydrogen sulfide in the second phase. Solid waste including animal excreta and poultry litter, food waste from the domestic, commercial and industrial sources, green waste from the parks and gardens, etc., can be used as feedstock for the digester to produce biogas. Advantages of the anaerobic digestion. Biogas produced from an anaerobic digestion of solid waste forms an important fuel for cooking. Biogas can be compressed, much like natural gas, can be used as a fuel in motor vehicles. Biogas can be used in a gas engine to convert its energy into heat and electricity also. The digestate from biogas plants can be used as a fertilizer and soil improver. Anaerobic digestion provides a means of getting rid of waste in the environmentally sound as well as cost-effective, profitable manner. Anaerobic digestion method reduces the land requirement and also it avoids contamination of groundwater and surface water sources by any leachate. Here are some limitations of anaerobic digestion method, that is, biogas plants require a consistent source of degradable organic matter. The waste fed into the biogas plant must mostly be free from the non-biodegradable organic materials like plastics, so a prior careful for the separation of such materials from the waste is necessitated. There has to be a sustainable demand for the generated biogas in the vicinity of the plant at appropriate profitable conditions also. There should be a market potential for the digestate produced during the process as manure in order for the process to be economically viable. So these are the limitations of biogasification method. Recycling. The last disposing method for the waste is recycling. It is the process by which the materials that are otherwise destined for the disposal are separated, collected, processed and manufactured into reusable forms. The materials like paper, plastic, metals and glass are commonly recycled in many parts of the world. The steps involved in recycling is: the separated material is cleaned by washing. We can collect it in a suitable bins, that is plastic, for glass and for metal and for paper, and this separated material is cleaned by washing firstly. After that, the main processes are fabricating, that is cutting, bending and fixing. After fabricating, it is remelting followed by molding or extrusion. First, separated material cleaned by washing. Second method is fabricating. Third method is remelting. After that, molding. Recycling done only in a limited number of times, as the quality of the recycled product decreases with every processing cycle. First, if we are using or making the first plastic or metal or a glass or a paper, from the raw materials that is of good quality, but after recycling in several times the quality of the material loss. So recycling can be done in a limited number. Advantages of the recycling method: recycling decreases the accumulation of all kinds of waste, including municipal solid waste and industrial waste, at all kinds of waste disposal sites. Recycling minimizes air, water, and soil pollutions because in recycling waste products are reused rather than just being thrown away recklessly in landfills. We can collect plastic, metal, paper, or any glass materials from the open dumping place or from the landfills times or from the other disposing site. So recycling minimizes the air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollutions because it is reused rather than just thrown away the surface. Recycling of non-biodegradable waste like plastics saves the world from toxic leakages. That is very important. Recycling protects our environment. For example, the use of recycled paper for various purposes decreases the need for cutting trees. That means deforestation, and thereby restricts deforestation as well as helps protect animal habitats also. Recycling reduces energy consumption. In the absence of recycled products, the energy required to spend for large-scale processing of fresh raw materials have been very high. So the energy consumption for recycling is less. For example, recycling of aluminum materials decreases the need for the energy consuming extraction of the metal from bauxite. Then the recycling of all materials like glass, metals ensures the sustainable use of natural resources as well as conserves them. In the absence of recycled products, more fresh products would have been manufactured by mining and extraction of fresh raw materials from the Earth's crust. Recycling minimizes global warming also because the process reduces the need for combustion of waste and thereby restricts the release of greenhouse gases. Further, as the waste recycling processes generally require only the minimal use of fossil fuels, recycling method causes minimal release of greenhouse gases. Recycling generates job opportunities as the recycling plants requires workers. So there are several advantages for the recycling, that it will restricts the release of greenhouse gases, it will provide job opportunities, and also there is sustainable or ensures the minimum use of natural resources, and we can conserve the natural resources also. But there are some limitations of recycling, that is building up a new waste recycling unit takes up a lot of capital. Operating and maintaining recycling equipment are also cost intensive, so recycling is not always cost effective. Products of recycled materials may be of inferior quality as compared to those manufactured from the fresh raw materials. Poor management of recycling sites can lead to unhygienic and unsafe conditions for the workers. Waste spreads in these sites promote pathogen accumulation leading to spread of diseases and also cause release of hazardous fumes also. Thank you all for listening.